Something big is happening in Indonesia. Millennials and Gen Zs now make up more than half of all voters. It's the first time they've had the power to determine the country's next president. That's left candidates scrambling to attract the youth vote. But are the tactics working?
Kalau menurut aku sih kayak malah bikin target pasarnya tuh kayak iya apaan sih kayak gitu, malah kesannya tuh kayak bikin bego yang mau ininya gitu, yang mau milih dia.
Menurut saya ya cukup berhasil karena lebih friendly kesannya ke masyarakat serta anak-anak muda.
Tapi kalian ngerasa tergayat nggak dengan konten-konten seperti itu?
Aku sih enggak ya.
Sebenarnya nggak terlalu sih.
In the capital of Jakarta, I've organized to meet someone who understands what young voters want.
Saya tidak mengatakan bahwa gimmick itu adalah hal yang salah.
Betul.
Tapi kalau berlebihan, saya rasa itu menjadi wujud eksploitasi kebodohan masyarakat.
I think Gielbran is already waiting. He's the leader of the student association at Universitas Gadjah Mada.
Halo, apa kabar?
I first came across Gielbran when he grilled presidential candidate Prabowo Subianto at a live event at his university.
Dengan roadmap pendidikan seperti apa yang hendak Pak Prabowo berikan ketika Pak Prabowo berkuasa.
Then, he went further, handing all three candidates a manifesto of key issues and policy solutions written by him and other students.
Deg-degan nggak sih pas lagi ngasih?
Senang sih Mbak, lebih kesenang ya karena akhirnya ini menjadi contoh dan permulaan bahwa anak muda bisa loh menjadi subjek politik.
Like so many of Indonesia's young voters, Gielbran spends his life online and he knows the way desperate politicians operate.
Pilihlah calon kontestan politik yang dia membawa misi, visi, dan solusi. Jangan cuman joget-joget, jangan cuman adu pantun. Mereka punya ranah yang beda gitu. Mereka adalah pembuat kebijakan, mereka adalah stakeholder tertinggi.
Menurutmu pemerintah kita tuh ngerti nggak sih sama anak-anak muda dan kebutuhan-kebutuhannya?
Apakah dengan pengetahuan mereka soal kondisi anak muda sekarang mampu untuk menjawab tantangan anak muda? Kurasa bukan tidak, tapi masih belum.
Across town, an outfit called Bijak Memilih is working on further education.
Ayo sih, apa kabar?
Indonesian for Choose Wisely.
Halo, permisi.
The online platform helps voters learn more about the party policies and the issues they care about. It's the brainchild of collaborators Afu and Abi.
We're building a product that all of us here would love to use ourselves because it will solve our own pain.
What's young Indonesians' attitude towards politics? Do they actually care about politics?
Like the general narrative about young people in Indonesia is that they're apathetic. But in my personal opinion, they're more frustrated. I actually think there's a lot of interest for politics in young people and people in general in Indonesia, but it's a question of the depth of political literacy.
Indonesia is going through a collective, what I call a collective amnesia from 32 years of not having democracy and not having a proper civic education that trains you to critical thinking, asking your government for what you want. So there is like a lot of catching up that we're doing.
And the issues that young Indonesians care about, what do you guys think about that?
It's like corruption, freedom of speech, environment, climate change,
inclusion,
social inclusion,
jobs. We're not endorsing a particular position per se. Some of those issues are polarizing and people might have, depending on their values and ideologies, might have a different take. But at least we think that it should be properly discussed.
So, what's your message for young Indonesians? How should they vote? What do they have to know?
Don't just stop at what the presidential candidates are saying because it's very cheap to say things of what you are going to do, but it's more credible when you compare that with their track records of what they have actually been doing. Political participation doesn't stop at election, right?
Yeah.
If anything, it's just the beginning. It's part of your job as a citizen to continue to monitor and criticize and provide inputs to your elected candidates, right? So the point is it doesn't stop on February 14th.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. So I just went back from the interview with Bijak Memilih,
It was so fun meeting people around your age. The energy is there. It's really good to see young people having that vision for the country. We're arriving at Andovi Lopez's place. Terima kasih. Hai Kak, waduh.
Sorry, lagi beli minyak. Maaf. Lagi makan pisang goreng.
Andovi is one of Indonesia's most popular YouTube personalities.
That's my brother right there.
With his brother, they've built a massive online following and a career in entertainment from scratch. They've got a different take on Indonesian politics.
The audition is happening right inside as we speak right now.
Their latest project is the political satire Polarisasi 2024.
So from Polarisasi, it's actually in the title itself. So Polarisasi literally translates to polarization. We really want to point out that no matter who you vote for in 2024, we as Indonesian citizens, we don't have to be polarized and start fighting against each other, right?
So like a little bit of an explainer, but in a fun way.
A little bit, but in a very musical, fun way.
Yeah, fun ways. Yeah.
We feel that politics is already hard enough, election is already something so heavy, we want to try to give it to music and dance.
You definitely have seen contents of presidential candidates trying to appeal to young people by doing TikTok dance or being funny. Like, what kind of message do you want to give to them on being critical?
In my opinion, there is no problem for any presidential candidate to try to appeal to the youth. I think we are underestimating the first-time voters and the Gen Z of the Indonesian youth. They are way more critical than we give them the credit to be. But when we consume information, please consume the other side. I'm not saying it's going to change your mind, but at least you have a more whole and fulfilling, zoomed out perspective of the election.
It's like meeting your junior high school idol, basically, and talking about politics with them.
Generational change in Indonesian politics is slowly happening, but there's a catch.
We're heading to the MPR DPR building to meet with Dyah Roro.
Use your voice. Your voice matters.
This is actually my first time being in the MPR DPR building. Hai Bu Roro, apa kabar? Saya Natasya.
Roro is one of the youngest representatives of Golkar, an established political party with a long history.
So this is the office.
This is the office. Welcome. Sit down.
Oh, thank you. What are the challenges of being a young politician in Indonesia for you?
I obtained a seat in parliament when I was 25 years old. I personally don't feel like I'm alone. There are this group of thriving and innovative parliamentarians who are young but also have something to share. Being young means you're deemed as somebody who is inexperienced and may not have that courage to speak on certain issues. And being underestimated may be one of the things that not only young politicians face, this is something that a lot of young people face irrespective of where we work.
Though Roro's clearly a hardworking representative, that might not be surprising given her background. Her father, Satya Widayuda, was also a Golkar politician. I wanted to know her thoughts on how his status had helped her career.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it's a question that comes a lot. Being born into this environment, I'm able to kind of just learn, right? Learn about what it means to be a parliamentarian, what it means to listen to the needs of the people, what it means to be able to be there for them and advocate for certain issues. And I learned that growing up through my father. So many life lessons helped shape me to become the person that I am and have shaped the passion that I have to contribute to the country.